Let's try that now. All right, trying again. Hey, we're not overloaded anymore. Yay. And I think we might finally be working. Are we back? Are we on?
I got a message saying we were live.
All right. We're live for like the 4th time. There we go. Sorry, I got to get everything reloaded here. Patience, everyone. We'll be right here. Hey! We fixed it. Yay. Welcome to Talking Heads, episode 82.4. Your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. And this week, your 4th weekly live show.
Right.
4 times weekly.
4 times a week.
4 times weekly. How's it going, everyone? I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show. We're about 8 minutes late, but oh well, we got there.
It's not my fault.
And it's not John's fault. I will go on record. This one was not John's fault.
First time for everything.
How you doing this week, John?
Actually, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. It's been pretty fun making some videos and drinking some beer, and I don't know.
I have to say, your video today, one of your best ones out of you.
You know, it was pretty fun. It felt good, and actually, I threw it together really fast too. It was kind of fun, but it just kind of came together perfectly.
Yeah, no, production value was great. Your lens was perfectly in focus the whole time. I loved some of your editing transitions and the 50-50 B-roll that you were doing.
I really liked that too. I was like, oh, that was took a little bit extra work in the editing part, but I was like, yeah, it just really came out.
No, it was sharp. Go check out John's channel after the show. Down in the video description, I have a link to his channel, and also follow him on Twitter at Hops and Brews or Instagram, Facebook, wherever.
Whatever, you know.
Hops and Brews.
Hops and Brews.
Follow me on Twitter at Craft Computing.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you're subscribed if you're here. Anyway, welcome to the show. If you're new to the show, what this is basically John and I sitting around having a couple beers, talking beer and tech news. We do drink during the show, but we try to keep it as family-friendly as humanly possible. Kind of like that Bugs Bunny level humor if we do go a little blue.
Yep.
But beyond that, we do about 20 minutes of beer news, about 40 to an hour of tech news, and then about 20 minutes of pop culture or whatever we want to talk about. Usually ends up talking about Star Trek.
Usually. And then we do try to do a little bit of Q&A if we have time, especially if it's a slow week. But we do try to get to some Q&A. And even in the middle of the show, we do a little Q&A.
Exactly. So let us know in the chat, what are you drinking tonight? And that begs the question, John, what are we drinking tonight?
Well, speaking of my video, so my video was kind of an interesting concept of, we talked about this beer on the show, was Budweiser released a new Reserve series. This is their Discovery Reserve. It is an homage to the moon landing.
Yes.
The Apollo missions. And
the old stubby bottles.
The old stubby bottles. And I actually looked this beer up, and it's actually getting pretty good reviews on Untappd. So I thought, okay, if this is the best Budweiser, what if we put this against the worst craft beer possible? And I couldn't really find a true craft beer. But this is the closest I could find. 10 Barrel Brewing was pretty close to a craft brewery.
Yeah.
I still consider most of their stuff, you know.
And I do too.
Yeah, you know.
They are owned by InBev.
But they are owned by Budweiser.
But they do function autonomously.
Yes. So, but it actually ended up being a lager versus a lager. So I wanted to see what's better. Craft beer or domestic beer?
Yeah, the worst craft lager according to Untappd, or the best domestic lager according to Untappd.
Yes. So, what do you want to try, Jeff?
Ooh, boy. Do I get to pick?
And Jeff hates lagers and pilsners. Which is funny. You love German beers?
I love German beers, but it's the biscuit and the bready flavors of the lagers and pilsners. I'm just not a fan. I can appreciate a good one, but it's hard for me to enjoy a mediocre one.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yes. That's very hard to do. That. Yeah.
So that's my big gripe is if I'm going to spend $1.50 on this, I'd rather spend $2 on a good beer.
A good beer, yes.
Right.
Or maybe just a beer with a higher ABV.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm just going to have that.
Now I don't care.
Now I don't care.
Yeah.
Like what Steve brings.
Yes. Well, this was only $2.50, but it's 11%.
Exactly.
So there you go. All right. Let's Let's go for broke.
All right.
Let's just do it. Get it out of the way.
Yeah. And the best part, the twist. Yes. Don't even need an opener.
That's right. Oh, you can actually get a head out of it. Look at that.
No. Again, I don't think it's the greatest beer in the world, but I think it's probably the best Budweiser I've ever had.
Yeah. That's high praise.
And that's high praise.
Look at that.
Yeah. No.
All right.
I mean, yeah.
And then case in point, where would I spend my money at if I was going for a lighter ABV beer, something just kind of light and playful and a good
Something you can have outdoors.
crisp, refreshing lawnmower beer. I went to the store today and I wanted to compete with John's Lager / Pilsner kind of thing. Now, this is from Freem Brewing up in, they're in Hood River, right?
Oregon City.
Oregon City.
Yes.
Okay. I can never remember where Freem is at.
Yeah.
Never. Local brewery, but they have a Pilsner, and it's actually quite good. But I didn't want to do 3 Pilsners or lagers in a row. This is their Freem Bright Pale Ale, and all of these today are 5.0%.
Yeah.
Now, these are a little bit more expensive. This is $4 instead of $1.50 or $2. But...
Does the price and the quality outweigh
Exactly.
this?
Right. Is the most basic pale ale you can buy still better than
for a little bit extra is that most basic pale, but is that quality just way above?
Right. So we'll be doing that as the show goes on.
So.
Cheers to you all. Let me see if I can catch up and find out what everyone else is drinking. Skull's got a toppling Goliath. Of course he does. You know, not the worst thing I've ever had.
That's exactly my point. It's not the worst. It's not great.
It's not great. It is not great, but I don't hate it.
If this is Budweiser's standard, I think they would, skyrocket.
I have been to barbecues where I'll show up and I'm talking with friends and someone goes, "Hey, do you want a beer?" And I go, "Yeah, absolutely I do. What do you got?" And they go, "Oh, we got Coors, or we got Bud, and I got Miller, and I got Bud Light, and I got Bud Light Lime." And I literally go, "You know what? I'll just have a lemonade."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No. And I'm not trying to be pretentious. It's just I literally don't like them.
Oh, yeah. No. And there's always this weird after flavor, and I think it's those adjuncts of corn or rice.
It's the rice.
Yeah.
I think that really gets to me.
So this isn't bad. I do taste a little rice in it.
There's a little bit there, but I gotta say the aftertaste doesn't linger nearly as bad as a Budweiser, and it's not nearly as offensive.
No, it really isn't as offensive. The initial...
It is not a great aftertaste. I'm not enjoying the aftertaste.
Yeah, you still have that funky,
artificial.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I came to. I came to the conclusion of it tastes cheap. Mm-hmm. It tastes cheap.
It does.
But it's not bad for cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
some interesting flavors in there.
There is what I would
honey.
Yeah, I got like a dark roasty honey malt. They say toffee. I get a little dry woodiness.
Little woodiness. I don't get any toffee at all.
I never got toffee.
No toffee at all. There's no rich, thicker, darker flavors in this.
No.
It's nice and malty. It is pleasantly malty. And most of the flavors that I'm getting are pretty good.
Yeah, right? So, I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
By this beer.
It's a decent beer.
But this is actually a pretty decent Pilsner, too. So you might... And I kind of got you to like Pilsners when we went to that Brewfest a little bit.
You did. A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But, it's funny thing. Making beer is actually pretty hard, especially Pilsners and lagers.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to ferment them really cold. Now, like if you're the type of person who just wants a nice, easy drinking ale, sometimes homebrew equipment takes up a lot of room. It really does.
Yeah. Especially your new setup.
Yeah, it's big. It's like one of your server racks.
Yeah.
But actually, we talked about this a while ago. There was a company in Seattle, PicoBrew.
Yes.
They came out kind of with those coffee dispenser type, you get a packet and you pop it in and it makes your beer for you.
Keurig style beer takes, I think, 3 weeks to fully ferment.
Something like that, yeah.
It was something like, I think, between 7 and 21 days, depending on what beer you added. But yeah, you bought packets, essentially. You put it into the container and you said, oh, this one's a Pilsner. And you hit the Pilsner button and it brews it.
It brews it. And so it was their recipes.
Just add water.
Yeah, just add water is their recipes. Yep. Well, actually, the cool thing about this company is they just now released, or about to release, no, I think they already released it, because you can essentially buy the case and all of the containers empty. So you can fill it with your own.
Right.
So you are essentially home brewing your own recipe.
Yeah, you can. They're calling it the unpacked kits, and basically it's containers for however each individual ingredient, and it goes through its own process. So you tell it what type of beer you're trying to brew, and then you just add your ingredients into the containers, pop it into there, hit the button for pale or Pilsner
whatever.
Or Belgian.
You tell it, like, I need it to go to this temperature for this long, then add these hops at this point, but you just have to put the hops and all the ingredients in the right spacing in the container.
Right.
And it will take care of the rest for you. You know, add water. Kind of interesting, kind of cool. I really like that. And I think they're going for, with this packet, I think it was like $3.99, $3.29.
$3.29.
A little high.
Right. But that's the Pico C with the unpacked kit.
Yeah,
so that's the full.
That's the full kit. So if you already have this, it's only $20 to buy.
Yeah.
If you already have the Pico system, it's only $20 to buy the individual pack. But if you need the whole system, basically $330.
Right. And honestly, for an entry level, hey, am I even going to enjoy craft brewing or home brewing? That's not a very high level of
and it makes just a hair under 2 gallons. So for one person, and it's countertop. It's basically the size of like a mixer, mixing bowl.
Right, or juicer or something like that.
So it's pretty compact. You can have it on your shelf or in your garage very easily. Saves a lot of space. So it's great for people in apartments. We've actually had a couple of patrons that say, hey, I have an apartment. I can't brew beer. I really wish I could. This would actually fix that for them.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. There was a Pico system on Craigslist. I saw some guy was selling it for $100.
Really?
And I was like, this was a while ago. And I was like, I should buy this because it's only $100. I always want to try it.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I did.
Yeah, exactly. and as soon as you posted as soon as I found this story, because I posted this one, as soon as I posted the story, I started looking on the used market going, is anyone selling one?
Yeah.
Does anyone have one cheap? I would love to do a craft computing brew that
we
could...
So then you can have your own, like, hey, well, I got a mini keg of craft computing.
I have a mini keg pressurizer and cooler system down in my garage. So I can basically fill a growler up to, I think it's 160 ounces or something like that. So pretty decent amount of beer.
Size,
gallon and a half. And then it'll pressurize that system and you can,
fresh beer.
Yeah, fresh beer, and keeps it cold, keeps it pressurized, keeps it fresh-ish.
Yeah. Ish.
Yep.
Still. Yeah, gallon and a half, you can drink that in like 2 days.
Yeah, totally. All right. So that's kind of the new way of brewing beer. What about some of the older ways of brewing beer?
There's some really old, it's interesting transition.
I tried.
You tried. It was fun.
It worked.
It worked.
Don't you judge me.
Some old ways. So I think some of the more older ways are the famous monks. Monk brewing. Everyone pretty much probably associates a lot of beer brewing, and if you say European monk beer, they automatically, I know what you're talking about.
Sorry, we got a $13 super chat. So Regan, haven't donated in a while, can't stay because I'm getting up early for work, striving to be more active, but want to thank you all for giving me the courage to learn more. It helped me land this job. Excellent. Cheers, buddy. Cheers, Regan. Great to hear from you. Great chatting with you over in the Discord, which, if you want to join the Discord, $1 a month on the Patreon. Link is down in the video description.
Lots of stuff goes on there.
John's on there, too.
Yep.
He doesn't have to pay though.
I don't.
He don't.
I probably should.
Yeah. And then Philip Smith donated $1, and Regan $2 more just because.
Apparently, individually.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Anyways, so Monks. We all know Monks brew beer, and they actually probably brew some of our favorite Belgian style monk beers. You know, you and I both particularly love that style.
Yes.
Very malty, very refreshing. Well, there's a brewery. Was it Belgium or was it France? I think it was. Or since Danish.
Norbertine Abbey. It was destroyed during the French Revolution. Where was this at?
Yeah, I remember reading the town.
Grimbergen.
Well, that's the beer name.
That's the location.
Oh, okay. So where are we at? We are in.
Bear with us. Brussels. So we are in Belgium.
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 So Belgium.
Yep, just outside Brussels.
Yeah, so actually, it's been really cool. This monk, when the monastery burnt down, some monks were able to smuggle out, I think they said about like 300 books during a fire, during the French Revolution. And some monks, modern time nowadays, fast forward 200 plus years. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Went and...
Sorry, I got updates popping up.
Went and finally started reading through these books.
Yeah.
And they found that some of them contain beer recipes. Original, unknown, how they brewed them 200 plus years ago. Really detailed of this is the wood you use. This is how you process everything. This is the exact grain you use. And so they were so impressed by this that they are now going to start a brewery and brewing these specialty beers.
Right.
You can even they even went, here's the book. And that, I mean, you can see those pages. They are brittle and frail looking pages.
Yes. So the French Revolution burned down this monastery in 1798 and destroyed all the brewing equipment, and there was a whole library that was burned down. The monks that were there smuggled out 300 books before the blaze took the rest of the building.
Yeah.
If you scroll down one more, that's Father Carl Stoutmus, and he is going to be studying brewing so he can help brew these beers, bring them back to life. There's a couple of them in there that were listed. Oh my god, they sound good.
Oh, I know. There was like whiskey barrel aged. I was like, a whiskey barrel aged Belgian triple?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
That spends 5 months in a whiskey barrel.
Yeah, I know. Oh. That's going to be delicious.
At 10.8%.
Oh, I know. It's just like the flavors. So, and because of this, they are going to open up a restaurant and a brewery, and I looked it up. They call it small batches. Yeah. And I looked up the 10,000 hectoliters, which is roughly around, I think it was like 160,000 gallons. Yeah. So I was like, that's not a small brewery. Yeah. That's no small batches. So I thought that was pretty cool. We've talked about a number of times of old stuff popping up like that. So do we have the other one? We don't. Did you kick the other one out?
Or did I never? I might not have pasted it.
Oh, that's fine.
If you go down, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I closed it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh well.
Oh well.
There we go. Oh well. So we won't have any visual aids for the next one.
Yeah.
But speaking of old beer, how about some even older beer?
Right? That's what's going to be my transition.
I know. See, I was trying to go from new to mid to...
Yeah. So
I lined it up right.
Yeah, so we just talked about 220-year-old beer. How about 5,000-year-old beer?
Yes. So Israeli scientists have been able to brew a beer from revived yeast that they recovered that was 5,000 years old.
Yes.
Now, we've seen some shipwreck beers that are in the 500-year-old range that they've extracted the yeast from the bottles and been able to revive it or reinvigorate it. But 5,000 is starting to push.
Oh, yeah.
What I thought was possible.
I don't think I've ever seen one that old.
No. Because like I said, we've seen 500 and even up to 1,000.
Yeah, I think it was like 1,200 or 13, something like we've seen. But
yeah.
5,000. Now, it's not all of the yeast, but they say the oldest strain they were able to regenerate was a 5,000-year-old. And what they were able to do is they found these clay pots, and that they were examining them for brewing process, and they noticed that there was still active yeast still on these clay pots that were buried. And they were very carefully, were able to extract it and rejuvenate them and recultivate them. And they started making beer with it. Now, they've already produced the beer, and it kind of sounds like exactly what you think. It was spicy, funky, weird. Even the beer that's on here, you can't see it, but it looks like lemonade.
Yes. Yeah, it's a pale yellow.
Yeah.
Looks like Crystal Light.
Yes, kind of
the artificial yellow almost.
Yes, almost. I'm betting it just tastes very funky, very off. And they tried to describe it as being pleasant, spicy with a hint of wood and some funkiness, like a farmhouse fresh. That means it tastes bad.
Yeah, that means it's skunky and it bites you.
It's skunky and bites you, and it's horrible. Yeah. They're like with fruity essence. No, that's rotten fruit, maybe.
Question: what's a good mainstream imperial stout?
Dragon's Milk. That's an easy one.
Yep. 14%, usually about $10 a bottle. You can find it just about anywhere.
Yeah.
Usually at a even Safeway has been carrying it lately.
Oh yeah.
That they've been getting really big there. So going for a big-bodied imperial stout, Dragon's Milk's a great one.
Dragon's Milk's a great one.
New Holland Brewing. If you're looking for a little bit lighter stout, maybe not an imperial, Deschutes Obsidian Stout.
Yeah,
is nationally distributed and a pretty darn good one.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Okay, Jeff must like it because it's 3/4 gone. I know,
right? Okay, so we're already halfway. How bad is like that lingering flavor?
It's not there.
It's not there. I think that's the most, because we had the other two reserves and they lingered, and that was, I think, the fault of them. This doesn't linger.
Totally.
So it's not.
This doesn't linger. It's reminding me of a lot of just a really good red ale, that's what it is. It's a red lager.
It's right. That's how I was so surprised. But there are still very off-putting things about this beer.
Yes, that ricey flavor. It's buried, but it is still there.
Yeah.
And that's my main criticism of Budweiser. Usually, that's a much more present, almost a skunky sour rice that just kind of sits on your tongue for like 3 minutes after you've finished drinking it. This is not doing that. Like, that flavor is there, but there's other flavors that are kind of muting that out. Where you just kind of get it occasionally.
Yeah, that's why I said, if I had this at a barbecue, I think the complexity, which there's some complexity to this beer, would complement the food, the spices of a burger or a hot dog. Where, I was just like a regular Budweiser. Right. Just, this is water. This does nothing.
Good cheeseburger with some ketchup and onion on it or something.
This would be fantastic.
Great.
So.
Some baked beans.
Yeah.
I think
the
well.
maltiness and the nice sweetness of the baked beans would really complement it.
Exactly. Yeah, I still don't want to call it like good.
I said it's the best of the worst.
It's the best of the worst. This is the best domestic beer I've ever had, excluding like Sam Adams.
Yes.
Sam Adams I'm starting to consider domestic because they are just globally mass produced. Technically they're craft. They're just...
So is Younglings. Younglings is technically craft.
And technically they're craft, but when you're the biggest fish in a really small pond, or you're the biggest fish by a margin of hundreds, it's kind of hard to compare you with the little guys anymore.
I would probably take this over Boston Lager.
I would take this over Boston Lager.
No.
I would. I wouldn't take this over like a Boston Winter Ale or...
No, maybe not one of their other ones or even a regular IPA, but this comes down to lagers.
Right.
Yeah. So.
One of the better lagers I've had.
Yeah, right. And it's Budweiser.
And it's Bud. That's freaking weird.
Just don't look at it, Jeff. Don't look
That's right.
Look away as you drink.
Oh, God! Why did I look? So, yeah. I'd drink it. It's good. Never thought I would say, well done, InBev. Never, ever, ever thought I would say it. Never. Never. I feel dirty for saying
All right. I will say, during filming, I was like, this is going to be a great Talking Heads. I'm going to just love seeing Jeff's reaction.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the beer news.
Yep. And hey, we're actually right on time considering we started 8 minutes late. So cool. Let's jump right into
our favorite tech company,
Huawei, or Huawei. Huawei. Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying Huawei.
I'm just saying Huawei.
Yeah.
Huawei.
Say Huawei. Say Hua.
Hua.
Say Wei.
Wei.
Say
Huawei.
Exactly. So, hey, Heavy Palms, $1. Thank you, buddy. So this broke a couple of hours after we got off the air last week.
Yep.
I think it was early Thursday morning that the U.S. had basically sanctioned Huawei and said we're no longer doing business, and in fact we don't want you to import your phones anymore. We're going to start blocking them at the borders. We're going to no longer use it in any sector of government, and that was already kind of in talks. There's been allegations of state involvement from China with Huawei trying to spy. That's never really been founded, but what has been founded is trade secret theft allegations. From T-Mobile to Google to HTC.
Oh, we even talked
to
about
Sprint.
it. Yeah.
To and in fact, I even forgot.
Well, the glass one.
Gorilla Glass. Corning.
Corning
has things in there, and there was another company that came out this last week and filed a federal lawsuit, and I didn't even put them in the footnotes because you're like one of like 30.
Yeah.
So there are some spying allegations as far as company trade secrets goes when it comes to Huawei. And that's probably reason enough to ban them. I don't think it was well stated by our current administrative office as far as why we were banning them, but I don't think the ban is unfounded.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. So Huawei can no longer do business with U.S. governmental customers, and they are being blocked at the borders starting now. And I figured we probably won't even touch on the story because it's last week. It's Thursday, so that means Linus is probably going to throw it up on their show, and I'm just not going to get a chance to give.
You're going to be the last dog in the fight.
Yeah. When news breaks on Thursday, I don't talk about it on Wednesday. We typically start our notes sometime around Sunday.
Yeah.
And we'll do the news leading up to this week, unless it's a major story and there's plot points that evolve throughout the week.
Yeah. And
that's what happened here with Huawei. So we all know that they've been banned. However, the evolvement of that, the evolution of that was the president banned them. Google then decided 3 days ago to come out and pull Huawei's Android license.
Yes, that's a big one.
That's a huge blow because Android is open source. You can distribute Android. You can build your own packages. But having an Android license means you can use the Google Play Store, means you get
Gmail.
You get all the native Google apps.
Yeah.
So Gmail, Drive, Voice, all the essential Google apps that are there. You also get security updates that are provided by Android that you can roll into your own kernel. If you do not have an Android license, you can get the kernel. You can install Android if you'd like.
Yeah, the basic raw package.
Right, the basic raw package. But you have to do everything else yourself.
Yeah.
Including find your own store distribution and
no more Play Store.
No more Play Store. No more anything like that.
You have to use a third-party email app to access and hook up your emails.
Yep.
Well, let's hope it's secure.
Yep. So while everyone goes, well, Android is free. Android's not free. The kernel is free, kind of like Linux is. But Android, when you license it from Google, is kind of like Red Hat.
Yeah, that's a good example.
It's paid. It's a paid service that you pay for services with to keep up to date. And and maintain and have access to certain resources that Google provides.
Now, they are stating, though, that Google will honor anyone that has a Huawei product currently.
Right.
Currently. So you will not, they will still give you updates on that. So just because you have a device now, you will still continue to get updates from that. It's any forthgoing products.
Yeah. Yeah, it is not a retroactive cut. It is from today forward. Any new devices that are activated will not be receiving updates.
Yes.
And that's beyond a U.S. sanction. That's a global sanction.
Yeah, that's what the big hit is.
Right, because that's the core of Huawei's business. And I thought, man, that's a good one to talk about. There's even bigger news that came out like literally 3 hours ago.
Yeah, this is before I even read.
Right. So ARM, which is a UK-based company, which is they build processors and they license their technology out. And ARM is pretty much the basis of every single mobile device that's on the planet right now. There's other competitors, but pretty much every single mobile device that's out there right now is an ARM-based processor, and it's a licensed ARM processor. So the Snapdragon series of processors from Samsung, those are using the ARM architecture. They're Samsung's own design, but they're using the ARM architecture and they're licensed to the ARM Foundation. ARM just sent an email to its global partners that said, we are revoking the right to ship ARM processors, ARM-based processors, to Huawei. Your license for ARM does not extend to selling chips to Huawei anymore. And that is probably going to put Huawei under.
So there goes all of their tablets, all of their phones, probably half of their little computers that they, pop out.
Right.
So Huawei, bye-bye.
Yep. Yeah, this is about as close to a death blow as you can get to a company because, like John said, all of their products are based on ARM. As of today, Huawei cannot license Android on those tablets, and they can't license the hardware that is at the heart and soul of their products. And we're not talking about just the processor. We're also talking about a lot of different subcontrollers which are inside of the phones. A lot of times, if you have any kind of biometrics, those have individual standalone ARM-based processors that they're co-processors to the main unit. And so your fingerprint reader, to keep it secure, it has its own ARM-based processor, which then sends information to the main ARM processor on the phone. Your camera is an ARM-based processor. The list goes on and on and on.
I'm curious to see if they try to fix this, for the next 2-3 years. It's not going to be obviously instantaneous. We're going to crumble, but go with some other third-party unknown, and then they're just going to take over like thewish.com phones and be like, hey, you can get a cell phone now for $20 that does all of this, and really, it's really crappy.
They may
that might be the direction
they may try to pivot their business, but the thing is, you can do non-ARM-based mobile phones and run unsanctioned versions of Android on them. There are phones that use Cortex-based processors. When I say phones, they're not phones. There are devices out there that use Cortex-based processors, and I don't think... I don't think Cortex is ARM-based. Let me see. Oh, ARM Cortex. Never mind. Cortex is an ARM. It is a branch of ARM. Trying to think of what else is there.
They're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, they may try to pivot their business and do something else. I think they're bankrupt in 3 months. I think at this point they sell assets and they try to bail.
I give them a year. I think they're gonna pivot and be, maybe I think 2 years. They're gonna pivot for 1 year and be like, we're gonna try to give the cheapest stuff possible and be that cheap alternative because people already knew us as the cheap alternative. So we're just gonna say we're slashing prices left and right.
I think inside of 3 or 4 months, someone comes out of the woodwork and buys them. I think maybe LG, maybe Dell,
maybe. And then they might be like, all the sanctions are lifted because there's a new management underneath it. There's a new owning. There's a new company behind it.
Right.
Okay, you're fine.
Yep.
So That actually is probably a pretty good chance. That's a first. And I didn't see a single, like, bleh, bleh.
No.
I'm choking this down.
No. I finished a Budweiser on this show.
Yeah.
Weird.
Right? I will say we probably should open the next one to keep it as cool as possible.
Yeah. The problem is all of these beers should be served rather cold. And as it warms up, we're not going to get great results. Now, this one still feels pretty chilly.
Yeah. So this is 10 Barrels Pub Beer Lager. Thank you, sir. Yep. Still coming in at 5%. What I found funny was that, okay, we just had a red ale.
Yeah.
Which kind of had a nice khaki, creamy looking head.
Yeah.
This looks like Budweiser.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell like Budweiser, though.
And a stark white, maybe a pale yellow head.
Yeah.
There are no offensive notes in that.
Okay.
There's nothing offensive about that.
It's nothing offensive, but is there anything there?
Where the bud still had that distinct rice flavor mixed in throughout it.
Yes. This doesn't have that
I
flavor.
didn't like. But the aroma on the bud was better too.
Really? I actually, well, mine was a bit colder in the video, but I like the aroma better.
This almost smells sour to me. The nose is just slightly sour.
I can, yeah, okay.
And I like the maltiness on the bud better.
Yeah, I can smell what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Very hollow. There's not a lot of...
There's just not a lot there.
Not a lot there. It's not complex. It doesn't make me think. There's nothing offensive about it, but there's nothing standing out about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Now, on a hot... Now, this is still a little bit warmer than probably what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
On a hot day, you just mowed the lawn. You know...
It's a fine beer.
It's a fine beer.
5 degrees cooler, I'd love it.
Yeah. And I probably wouldn't want this with a burger, though, because it would just... There's nothing there.
No. Yeah, with a burger, this would disappear.
Yeah.
This would be like drinking water.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right? I actually thought I came up with a pretty good concept.
Yeah, actually.
It was pretty cool. So, and I was really surprised to find this beer, too, because I was at the John's Marketplace, our bottle shop that we go to, and I was searching for like 30 minutes to find a beer. And this was like last minute. I just turned around, I was like, hey!
Yeah, I know that one.
I know that one.
Yeah. Yeah, you should have texted me if you were looking for something, because the liquor store that I go to all the time has that as a standard.
Oh, okay.
So it's always in stock.
They have that as a standard, but because it's owned by InBev, they keep it like bottom shelf and in the corner. Like, we don't approve of this.
John's Marketplace is a craft beer bottle shop. Make no doubts about that. And so the few things that they carry that are from InBev or Miller Coors, they are like tucked into corners where
they actually keep the InBev, the domestic, next to the bathroom.
Yes.
I'm not lying, they actually do.
Yep. Darn good Philly cheesesteaks too.
Oh God, they're good. And cheap, like $7.
$7 for a full plate.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
So good. I want to go back. All right. So, Huawei. Ooh.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I think this is the end of Huawei. This is the end of China in general, the startups that pop up and start manufacturing devices en masse. They typically have a reputation of, well, they stole the ideas from everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of what Huawei did with their business. Again, there's 30 plus allegations of trade secret espionage and whatnot. There was a sting at CES this year with CEO of T-Mobile.
Oh yeah, we talked heavily.
Yeah, we talked heavily about that one. I mean, so this has been going on for a while now. So it's really just you can't do business that way outside of the confines of China. If Huawei existed inside of China, we would never be talking about this.
Yeah.
The problem is they started reaching the global market and started pushing their devices out. Hell, last year I used a Huawei cell phone.
Really?
Because it was $130 or something like that. And it worked fine. And in fact, I still use it downstairs as a Roku remote.
Oh, there you go.
So it's down there so we can control the TV.
clicking,
And we've got a couple smart devices downstairs as well. And that's kind of our... We just leave a cell phone plugged in by the TV, and we can grab it whenever we want.
Go.
If my phone's upstairs or something. And it works pretty well. It was never the best phone. And
I wonder then if the company does go down, if going out and buying some of the good Huawei, when I say good, better Huawei products is worth it because of what you can do with them. They are still little pretty powerful devices.
Some of them were pretty decent. Now, the one that I bought was not. But I would counter with, would you rather spend $300 on a Huawei premium phone or $399 on a Pixel 3a?
Well, what I'm saying is, if the company starts going down, will that $399 drop to $199 to $99?
If it's $99, I think it's a decent buy.
Yeah.
Even if it's or it's $199, no.
Okay,
I
you're talking 1/3 the price,
Right.
If it's got to be like Black Friday sale or going out of
Yeah.
business sale, whatever.
Yeah, if you snag a premium Huawei phone at like $100, I think it's a decent buy. I'm looking pretty heavily at the Pixel 3a to replace my Essential phone since Essential decided they don't want to make phones anymore.
Because you were really open for the second one to come out.
I was amped for the second Essential phone. I love my phone. It has been absolutely fantastic, but they announced the second one and then it kind of got delayed, and then they said, "Oh, we're not going to make it." It's like, well, what are you going to make? I don't know. Yeah, so kind of lost some goodwill with that company.
Yeah. Well, one thing that Huawei, at least actually, I don't know if they ever did. Did they ever do graphics cards?
No.
They never did graphics cards. And graphics cards are probably pretty hard for
any crap for a transition.
Well, at least it was smooth.
Did Huawei ever make graphics cards?
Yeah, that was really bad. Come on.
What the heck?
We were talking about cell phones. I didn't want to pull a wet and be like, well, what's next?
All right.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that.
Sometimes you just got a hard cut. Sometimes you do.
I hate hard cuts.
Yeah.
You know that for half of my editing are
I know.
hard cuts.
You like the blurry transitions.
I love the
fades.
The fades. I love the fades. Everything's got fades and feathered edges.
Yep. And artificial blurriness in the background.
That's right. Who cares? I don't need to have a lens. I'll artificially make it look like it's an expensive lens.
John, you're shooting on an f2.8. I need it blurrier. I'm not kidding. I sold him an f2.8 lens.
Yes. I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
I was like, if I just use the focus correctly, it works.
Yeah.
The ISO, it's too high. Okay, there we go. Hey, it looks good.
Looks good. Look at that. Proper exposure for the win. All right.
Back to graphics cards.
Sucker. We have some AMD graphics card rumors. And this one is pretty juicy. Now, the article that's posted is not really hot on the graphics cards themselves, because the early rumors that we had was an RTX 2070 beater for $250.
Yep.
And I said, there's no way in hell that happens.
That's true. You did say that.
There's no way that happens.
I think I said $299.
Right, or $249, $299, something like that. No way that happens. No way that happens beating the RTX
price point
2070. The reason being, you never come out with a competing product that undercuts the competition so severely. Number one, you're going to be perceived as inferior, even if in fact you're not, unless you absolutely blow the doors off, and then they're saying, well, where else did you cut corners at?
Yeah.
That's just basic marketing. If you don't price your product accordingly, you're going to be compared to those lower end products and not considered
high end.
Right.
You're going to be mid-tiered.
Right. It's the, Lexus is a great brand. Right. But have you seen my Porsche?
Yeah.
Right. It's one of those deals where, yeah, Lexus in some regards, like an SC440 or something like that, might be a phenomenal car and compete with a not with a 911, not a GT3,
Yeah, but the stock
Right.
911, the Carrera.
right. But if they price it at 60,000 and the Porsche is 90,000, well, are you really as good, or are
Yeah.
you just a cheap knockoff?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. But I said there's no way in heck it comes out at 249. There's no possible way. If they expect it to compete, it's going to compete for a similar price point, maybe undercut it slightly. So from a $499 down to maybe a $449 or a $429.
Yeah.
If it's going to beat it. And then what that does is it also gives them a much higher profit margin.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're in this business to make money. Make no bones about this. AMD doesn't care if you're an NVIDIA fan or an AMD fan or AMD's on top again. They're in this to make money. They're a company. They don't care.
It's just the way it works.
Right. And if they're not going to sell a product for $250 when they could sell it for $430 and it still competes with the $499 card. That's not the way business works. I am sweating like crazy today.
Yeah, you are. You need to drink more.
Apparently.
Yeah, right?
I don't know what it's not that hot in here.
No, actually, so you have it pretty comfortable. I think the last time it was a lot warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've kind of got my AC figured out in here finally and the way I run things in here and whatnot. But I am just dripping sweat. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like I'm that energized.
No, again, it feels not bad in here.
Yeah.
Just a little stuffy, but not nearly what it used to be.
Yeah.
So.
But no, I've literally got like drips falling off my eyelashes. Like, gross. Sorry you all had to see that. So RX 3080 rumored price is they're thinking $499. Now they're thinking it is going to beat the RTX 2070.
Yes. They're saying a bit by a bit.
Right, by a bit. And it's going to be priced very... it's going to beat the RTX 2070, 5, 7, 8%, something like that. And either match the price or maybe be like $10 more. Because right now, the 2070, you can get one for like $480. But it's been on the market for 6 months.
Yeah.
8 months.
So yeah, you got the brand new product versus the old product. Right. And that's why. So.
Exactly. So that's one rumor. The other rumor is the RX 3070, which is supposed to compete with the RTX 2060, is supposed to arrive for $399. And it is supposed to be marginally better significantly better than the RTX 2060.
Yeah, they're saying it's supposed to compete between the RTX 2060 and the 2070,
right.
And so it's right in that middle point, and kind of be the better price between the RTX 60. But I think they're trying to compete with the 2070 in price and performance, really.
Yeah. They said it was supposed to rain a little bit, and all of a sudden it just started dumping.
Yeah. Well, there was that thunderstorm
a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. It was 72 degrees at like 10 p.m. because this heat wave rolled in after the sun had gone down and warmed us up like 15 degrees and started a thunderstorm here.
Yeah.
And that is super weird for us.
Oh, yeah.
Like I know in the Midwest that happens all the time. Oh, warm air came in and all of a sudden we have tornadoes. But we don't do that here.
Mm-mm.
So
like once every 10 years.
Yeah.
Or 5 years. Yeah. But yeah, now it's pouring down. I give it 20, 30 minutes. It'll be like, oh, it's clear skies again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think this is just a momentary little blip.
So if you hear static fuzz in the background, it's just rain.
Yep. So RX 3070, $399, maybe 15 to 20% faster than an RTX 2060.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about ray tracing. We don't know if it's going to be hardware enabled, if it's going to be software hacked, if it's going to be working on the same engine but not as well, or we don't know anything about the ray tracing support. Although there's only 3 games you can buy with ray tracing, so
why bother?
Yeah. And then the RX 3080 is supposed to be slightly faster than the RTX 2070. I hate these new names.
Right.
Than the RTX 2070, and priced almost identically. So it's going to be right in that $480 to $500 range.
The close to 5, the high fours.
Right.
Very high fours.
Very high fours, right. And those are the 2 cards that are supposedly going to be announced next week, like Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like May 27th.
So next week,
right.
We'll have confirmation probably on all of this.
Yes. And there's talks that they will have full performance demos at E3 on June 10th, which is the original date that I gave for release. However, they're saying they're not going to be publicly available until July 7th. And so that does corroborate 2 of the 3 rumors that I mentioned like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
As far as price points and release.
Yes.
Because I said June 10th, they're doing something. Now, as it turns out, they're probably doing an E3 full press conference with full performance benchmarks and comparisons and hands-on demos for people. But a full-scale release is not going to be until July 7th. So, stay tuned to Lisa Su's Computex keynote next week on the 27th. I think 11 p.m. on the 27th, West Pacific time.
Yeah.
Western time.
So what is that? And then July, so it's 7/7, right?
Yeah.
7/7.
Yeah, and the reason they're saying 7/7 is it's supposed to commemorate AMD hitting 7 nanometer at the consumer level.
Yep.
So
they're Zen 2.
Yep, Zen 2. Holy crap.
Right? It's coming down.
Wow. It's a good rainstorm. All right. Zen 2 notes, and this is actually Zen...
trying to transition into that.
Zen 2 notes. This is actually more on the Epic side of things.
We are doing
fine. Do it yourself.
We are doing really bad. What is yours? Well,
all right. It's a
Zen 2.
New craft computing drinking game. When I say all right, take a drink. If I clap when I say all right, finish your drink.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yeah. Buy a 6-pack.
Yeah. So, Epic 2, Zen 2, 7 nanometer Zen 2. There have been spottings of a 32-core Epic CPU and a 64-core Epic CPU in some random online benchmarks.
Yep.
So we knew these were probably coming because, well, we can do math. We know that they can put 8 cores on a chiplet, and we know if a Threadripper and Epic SKU can hold 8 chiplets, well, that gives us 64 cores on a single shared I/O. It's also why we knew we're probably going to get a 16-core Zen 2. So, 64 cores, 128 threads, built on TSMC's 7nm FinFET and Zen 2 architecture. The performance numbers are kind of hard to decipher. Now, the reason we're talking about this is because they have been seen online. Not necessarily because of the numbers that they're getting, because they were tested kind of like the Zen 2 chips that we saw last week with the 12-core AM4 chip. They've been tested with 1600 megahertz DDR4.
Yeah, so not really pushing...
Not even stock frequency DDR4. Yeah. So I don't know if they're just getting baseline numbers and not wanting to share performance, and that certainly could be what they're trying. They're trying to hide performance numbers from the press and from Intel even.
Could be, or maybe they're just like, even at low performance, look at where it's at.
Well, and we know AMD performs so much better with higher memory frequency.
Yeah. And
so the fact that they're underclocking their DDR4 to do their base testing with, that may...
maybe during the bigger reveal, hey, check it out, we cranked everything up.
Right. Can you imagine if Lisa gets on stage and goes, here's Zen 2, 16-core, 32-thread with 3,800 megahertz memory.
Right? Let's crank this thing up.
Oh, and it's running at 4.8 gigahertz.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine that chip?
And check it out. We don't need a freezer to cool any of this down.
I can't wait for that joke. Especially, I want to be at the Threadripper 3 reveal when they go, oh yeah, we got 64 cores, 128 threads. It's running at 4.6 gigahertz. Oh, and there's no chiller.
Yeah, I want to see them bring like a freezer. I'm like, no, guys, we don't need this.
Right.
We're good.
I want to see a table that is just 4 legs with no curtain around it. I want a stand-up table with nothing but a power cord coming out. That would be epic. That's the corporate
jab, the stab, the poke.
Yeah, the little Roberto poke that I really like seeing from companies. Wheel it out. No, wheel at a table and then pull the curtain off of it.
Oh, yeah. Or, yeah, make it look like this big thing with coolers. And, all right, guys. All right, take this all away. It's all cardboard or something. And it's just a table like this. Hollow underneath, 4 legs, thin tabletop. Here we go.
You get one of the 60 amp breaker panels to power an Intel circuit, and so someone goes over there and ka-chink, and whatnot, and then they walk over to a Ryzen one and they flip a 120 breaker. All right, we're gonna power ours on now.
Yep.
So many jokes.
So many jokes. Could easily happen.
Begun the Core Wars have. The Core Wars started when the original Ryzen chips launched, because do you remember where core counts were in early 2017? You had Intel at the lead with 4-core 8-thread on the 7700K. And then you could get 6 cores for $450. And then to get 8 cores, it was $1,000.
Yeah.
That's where 8 cores was priced. Today, you can get 8 cores for what, $159?
Nothing.
Yeah. That's what I bought my Ryzen 7 1700 for. You can get 2 cores on Zen for $59.
Yeah. No, or I meant 2 cores back then.
Right. Well, 2 cores was an i3, and that was $140.
That's so $140 back then
for a 7100.
You can get an 8-core now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, begun the Core Wars did in 2017, and that's why we have what we have today. Isn't competition great?
Yes.
This is what it does for us.
Yes.
If only.
So wait, would that mean Huawei would be the Clone Wars?
You proud of that?
A little bit. I was like, yeah, all right. I'll give it to him.
So, we don't know when the EPYC CPUs are coming out. Likely sometime in November, or later on in the year, maybe August, because August has traditionally been the Threadripper release, but they might be releasing the EPYC CPUs at the same time. So I would say maybe August for a release.
Third quarter.
And
that's second quarter.
Right, and honestly, what I'm hearing is July 7th is going to be Navi and Zen 2.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah. No, I think,
because I've seen that number floated around on, what was it, Atared?
Yeah, I think the Christmas shopping season for computer nerds is going to be phenomenal this year. Yeah. I think everyone's going to be like, okay, it's going to come out summer, end of summer. We're going to give it those 3-4 months for the reviewers and all the big reviewers, yourself and Linus and whoever, to review them. Mm-hmm. And all of the semi-pro, the semi-wannabe gamers, they're all going to see those videos, and it's just going to floodgate at the Christmas season. Like, everyone's going to want to buy them, because they'll probably go on sale for like $25, or throw out a package. You buy this, we'll give you our cool RAM or designated mouse or some processor with a limited edition case.
And RAM is cheap again?
Yeah, everything's nice. Who cares about cryptocurrency anymore?
I can't wait to update my Threadripper workstation and have 128 gigs of like 3600 megahertz memory in it. I can't wait for that day. By the way, I have really, really big plans for this workstation in an update. I'm starting to reach out to different people. When I built Threadripper, my channel was only about 6 months old. I had 0 contacts in the industry, and so everything
that I did on your own budget.
Yeah, this is just something I built for fun, and I would have built anyway. But threw a couple videos on the channel and had fun with it. But this has been my editing workstation for a year and a half now, and it's still working great. But I'm to the point where I want to upgrade it. Not I have to, I want to.
You want to, but it's also like it would perform phenomenally.
Yeah, exactly. I really want to upgrade this workstation to a Threadripper 3 when it comes out. So Zen 2 7nm architecture. Give me 16 cores and 64 or 128 gigs of RAM. Give me 5 gigahertz overclock.
Yeah.
Give me PCIe 4.
That way, when you're video compression, or when you're doing your video and you hit I forget the actual word, process, whatever, and it crashes, you can just click it again. That's good. I got time.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah. Yeah, when Premiere crashes on me again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened, like 2 weeks ago or something like that? A video?
Jeff started with cheap Chinese Mobos and now gets 4 hard drives of 14 terabytes for free. Those aren't my drives. I don't get to keep those. I don't. I wish I did.
Yeah, I saw that and you said, now I got to give this back. Like, Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So the 14 terabyte drives, those are actually going over to Pro Clockers. And if you watch my most recent video with the in-win chassis review, I'm doing the chassis review and the drive review, and I have one, possibly two more videos coming out on that chassis setup. But then I'm sending all that equipment, not my Chinese board, but the drives and the chassis, on to Damon over at Pro Clockers, who's going to do a full written review on it. Okay. And he actually gets to keep it. So. But the benefit of doing that is Seagate knows who I am now, and I'm hoping to work with them in the future. Because I have done a number of home server projects that I like. That's gaming like machines and more than that. I like gaming machines. I like enthusiast rigs. I am a server junkie at heart. Give me a good home lab. Give me 100 terabytes of storage. I am a happy man.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping to collaborate with them in the near future on something. Maybe a FreeNAS upgrade. Maybe showing different storage options. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So. Yep. So yeah, I don't get to keep those drives, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I wish. Those are nice drives. Those are really nice drives.
Dream in the clouds.
Yep.
Yeah. Almost as if you can just take off and fly away. It's another really bad transition. What do you think of this? It's warmed up a bit now.
It has.
So I'm getting a bit funkier flavors. I'm getting those bit more of a biscuity, weird flavor. I taste more of it, everything in here.
The biscuit flavor is kind of coming through, kind of that Triscuit like finish on
yes.
it. Is how I like to describe it, where it's kind of a wheat heavy finish, and honestly the aftertaste I'm not liking as much. It's still better than the bud.
You think it's better than the bud?
I think the aftertaste is better than the bud. I think the bud had overall more complex and more pleasant flavors, even though it had a flavor that was detrimental.
Yeah.
To the overall profile. There's nothing unpleasant about it, but there is certainly nothing remarkable about this.
Yes.
And I'm not enjoying this as much. Weird.
Right? Isn't it?
Weird.
So weird.
Yeah.
I will say, the one thing I actually really liked about this beer was out of the... I myself am not a huge Pilsner Lager fan. Yeah. I'm starting to appreciate them more, probably about the last year or two. Mm-hmm. But the body I actually really like on this. It actually doesn't have that too watery flavor. Yeah. There's a little bit of thickness to this beer.
Yes.
Which makes me like, I can drink this. It's enjoyable. It doesn't have that ricey flavor, and it's not super thin.
Yep. Yeah, now that you've pointed me towards that, yeah, decent mouthfeel, decent body. Yeah. I wasn't really thinking about that.
You don't think about it, but...
and I think I wasn't thinking about it because the flavor's kind of hollow. Yes. There's nothing for me to pull out of it.
I think, well, that's...
So I'm just drinking it.
Yes, and that's, I think, what got me into it. I was like, what is there? I'm like, well, wow, it's actually a bit thicker than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So
someone tried to make a joke. I'm going to do one better. Jesse the Lager Ventura.
What they do, Jeff the Lager?
Jesse the body.
Oh, Jesse the body.
No, Jesse the Lager Ventura.
Oh, there you go.
It's got some body to it.
Okay, I get it now. You a big fan of the Jetsons?
Of course.
You really? I was a Flintstones man myself.
Were you? Jetsons all the way.
I was a Flintstones man myself.
I like smart-ass robots more than I like smart-ass dinosaurs.
Oh, I like the...
I don't want my appliances talking back to me.
I like the... What are you talking about? The maid talks back to you.
The maid can talk back to me, but she's
the
funny. The
appliances were the best part. They made all the quirky comments and everything.
It's a living.
Yeah, exactly. And they had great vitamins. They made you healthy. And I don't see the Jetsons having a great cereal.
It's true.
All right. But, you know what they did have over...
Fruity Sprockets never took off.
The Sprockets. Yeah, gears are so important in the future. But a lot of people, the cool thing was the flying cars.
Yeah.
Flying cars. I remember even in the 90s and even late 80s. Flying cars are going to be in the next 10 years, 5 years, whatever. You know,
and then I read like a Popular Mechanics magazine, and I go tell my dad, and it's like, they're saying we're going to have flying cars by 2005. And then he goes, they've been saying that since I was your age.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, well, that's disappointing. And then when we get to 2005, the mass consensus is, screw it, that's never going to happen.
Yeah. Who even wants a flying car anymore?
Right.
Let's just have magnetic self-driving cars.
Yep.
Well, there's a company in Germany that was like, no. We're going to have flying cars.
Yeah. So this is actually the second time we've covered them on this show. We covered their original.
This must have been when we were.
It was an early episode.
Yeah.
Early episode. This was a year and a half, or maybe 2 years ago. Well, it wouldn't have been 2 years ago because I'm not.
But yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't here 2 years ago. Anyway, so this is the second time we've talked about Lillium. They are a German company that has a dream for air taxis.
Yeah.
When we first showed this, they had like this weird computer rendering of your stereotypical flying like hover car, but with like your drone prop blades.
And if I remember, it was the big propellers too.
Yeah, it was two giant propellers on the side of a white chassis that doesn't look dissimilar from that.
Yeah.
But they had this really cheesy looking CGI animation over like a flat image of like San Francisco. And it was just bad.
Yeah.
Even when I was broadcasting in 720p, it looked bad. And so we took 20 minutes and we made fun of them. However, they achieved something about a week ago that I didn't think they would ever achieve. They got this thing off the ground.
They did, and they got it pretty far off the ground too.
Pretty far off the ground. So again, they have a dream for air taxis. By the way, Christian and Steve, $2 donations each. Love the channel and cheers. Thank you so much, guys. Cheers to you. So I didn't think they would ever get this thing off the ground because their original concept was a 2-seater personal transport or air taxi for like one person. So a driver and a driver and 2 passengers, I think is what it was. But they wanted a 5-passenger, so a driver plus 5-passenger vehicle.
Standard taxi.
Right. And so I'm looking at the renderings and I'm like, yeah, that's going to happen. They actually got this thing off the ground.
Yeah.
And the specs on it are what's even more mind-blowing. Now, this is still early prototyping. They've got a long...
They had this just off the ground. No one was in the car. It was all done remotely, but it's still very impressive. But the specs are pretty cool.
Right. With a top speed of 180 miles an hour and a 183-mile horizontal range.
Yeah. So, well, I just... No, this is an all-electronic... All-electric. Yeah. So I wonder how long it takes to charge, though. So
that's a good question.
You know, because even the smart charge Teslas and everything, with those batteries, they still take hour, 2 hours to charge, and that's fast charging, super fast charging.
So the way they're doing this is kind of a hybrid, almost like a Harrier-like design, where the plane itself has wings, has 2 sets of wings, forward and back. If you scroll down to that image right there. It has jets that point straight down, so this thing can take off vertically and then shoot itself forward by lifting its engines up.
Yeah.
So to take off, all it does is fire all the jets and lift itself off and kind of hover. Then it starts shooting the jets slowly forward until they're completely horizontal, and then it takes 10% of the thrust of those engines to keep this craft airborne at 180 miles an hour. And so that is an incredible bit of engineering.
It's just pure lift.
Right, it's just pure lift to get it off the ground. Once it's off the ground, it's basically a glider with a little prop on the back. Yeah. So it doesn't take anything at all to keep this in the air. That concept could actually work for private transportation.
Good. If you're looking for the not multi-billionaire, but you're just like, I need to go from, instead of a helicopter, this might be the new thing.
Could this be $180,000, $200,000? $250 maybe?
Yeah. Well, what's a helicopter run you?
About that price.
About that price. So if they can undercut that,
right,
by $50,000,
even if you don't undercut it, this is probably way easier to fly than a helicopter is.
That's true too. And then if you're also that multi-billion or whatever billionaire, the rich guy, I got the new flying car.
I got the new flying car.
What do you got?
What did you buy? Another Ferrari?
Also, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
to quote Lewis Black.
So,
what did you buy? Another car?
Yeah, that's not bad. So 100 essentially 80 miles that you could do. I'd probably only push it to maybe 150, but that's a long way.
Yeah.
Going at 180 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. That gets me to Mount Hood in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm
gonna go skiing. Bye.
You're cutting your drive time a third, if not half time.
Well, remember it's also as the crow flies.
Oh yeah, that's true.
To get to Mount Hood, I have to go up I-5, get onto 205.
That will be 20 minutes.
And then take the Estacada exit 13 to get onto Mount Hood Highway, and then you wind up.
Now they
Mount
call
Hood.
this is this a flying car? Did they actually call this a flying car? I don't remember that part.
It's not technically a flying car. It is an aircraft. It's not even an ultralight. It is an aircraft.
So this isn't one of those, I can drive, my wings fold, I can drive it on the freeway.
No, this is not a flying car.
This is a actual aircraft.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So yeah, you're going to need a helipad to land this thing on. You're going to need... you don't need a taxi. That's the advantage of it. So you don't need to actually get runway to take off. But your takeoff and landing is going to take the majority of your fuel.
Yeah.
But they got this thing off the ground, and they're actually trying to start transportation they're trying to sell tickets is their goal. Where was that?
Germany on 4th of May. That was when it was launched. That's their estimated. I didn't see that one.
It might have been another article. I might have posted the wrong article. They're looking at selling... Oops.
Yeah, because they posted when the actual flight took place, which was the 4th of May.
Right, yeah. The flight took place on the 4th of May. They made the news release this week.
Yeah.
I think last Thursday. But what they're looking to do is they're looking to put this into service as an air taxi under some local provisions for testing. They're looking to do 70-mile flights for $70 to get you from a city in Germany to the local airport. To basically take businessmen from the town over to the airport.
And the thing is, though, too, that could save them time of not having to spend in traffic. Oh, you only need to get there, and you have 20 minutes? We can do that.
We'll be there in 12.
Exactly.
Right.
So, while you're flying, you purchase your ticket and whatever, you check in the boarding pass, you're done. You just, okay, I'm here.
Yep. Exactly.
That would.
So yeah, that's how they're going to start. Now, this is a German company. They are seeking EU and UK flight clearance, and they will seek FAA clearance later. So this is not coming to the US immediately, but they're hoping by 2025 to go into full deployment of we're offering air taxi service.
With the drone market, it does look like a lot of drone-esque motors and things, but I think that actually really started pushing a lot of things because you can see like the drone motorcycles and everything like that, which that I think is cooler than this, but
I want a speeder bike, goddammit.
That's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I want. This is actually very promising. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I still don't know how much I would trust it, but it's cool.
I trust a Tesla.
Yes, but you know what? I still don't trust the Tesla on the self-driving mode.
The thing I like about this is look at all the points of failure.
Yeah, so even if one engine falls,
this is not a single engine plane, and that's what it's designed to do. Yeah. It is designed for redundancy, and to get into the consumer sector, you can't have a single point of failure or even a dual point of failure because failures will happen. If I lose 2 engines, who cares?
Yeah, I got 20 more.
30 of them.
Yeah.
So that's not a concern to me. And so I'm looking at the design of this and going, this actually might work.
Yeah. I think that's been the big thing of one of those, like the motorbikes or anything. It's 2 fans. Mm-hmm. What happens with one?
Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah. I'd ride one. I want to ride one.
You want to ride one?
Yeah.
I wonder what the noise in that versus a helicopter. Like helicopters, you're always going to wear the headphones.
I'm sure there's a lot of noise. I mean, think of 180 miles an hour worth of air.
Well, what I'm saying, even that, but Well, so I wonder inside the cockpit how much noise is in there, and even just the motors themselves, just the decibel levels. What is the difference?
I think it's going to be moderately loud. There's not a way to have an aircraft not be loud unless you're a commercial jetliner. And think of how loud even those are.
Well, yes. Well, what I'm saying is, do you think that particular air taxi, everyone in there has to now wear headphones with microphones to talk to one another? Or do you think I just have to have being shouting level?
I would say yes. I would say headphones are going to be required.
Headphones? You think so?
I think headphones are required.
I don't know. There's some pretty good soundproofing plastics.
But that was some pretty thin glass.
Well, it could be plastic.
But it's not like they have a lot of insulation within the craft itself. So this is a pretty thin-walled craft.
That's what I think those feats too are also just as marvelous as the flying, if they can lower the decimal level.
Yeah, interesting to see. On to another topic that you were actually affected by, and I did not know this.
I didn't even know this was as big as what you were telling me it really was. Yeah. I thought it was just a standard, okay, that I'm a victim like 100,000 other people are.
Yep. So cast your mind back to 2016, May 2016.
Yeah.
So 3 years almost to the day. Tell us what happened on your personal TeamViewer account.
So I remember, because I used to use TeamViewer a lot. I was a programmer, contracted programmer, so I would kind of always have TeamViewer like, hey, I need to remote back into my computer from an outside office. So I always installed TeamViewer. It was the perfect, great, free option. I remember being at home and going walking in, because I usually had it auto start. And I saw there and I was like, why is TeamViewer on? Why is the mouse moving?
Yeah.
Why is it going to Amazon?
Yeah.
Why did my PayPal just opened up? What? No! And then that day I went and researched and I was like, why is there $500 missing or, got spent from PayPal getting sent to this person? I didn't do any of that.
Right. So May 2016, there started coming out reports exactly like that, where people who had TeamViewer installed were noticing it was activating at really weird times, and someone was controlling their computer.
And actually, it was late at night.
Right. So someone would log into your computer, they would access your browser, they would browse to PayPal, and they would either empty your bank account or they would purchase things and ship them somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, when this happened, the response from TeamViewer was less than ownership of the issue.
Yeah.
We shall say.
Yeah.
The original response from TeamViewer was, and by the way, this is an article from 2016. This was June 1st, 2016, posted on CS Online, of accounts of the TeamViewer issue that was happening. And at the time, they were speculating of, was this some DNS mischief going on? Was this some kind of an exploit that was taken advantage of? Well, TeamViewer came out and made a statement, and they said, so we've realized lately that there's a number of reports of people having had their computers compromised. We want to take this opportunity to say TeamViewer was never in any way compromised, hacked, etc.
Yeah.
And what happened was all 100,000 of you seem to have
use the same password as your social media account.
Use the same password as your Twitter account, and this is all on you.
Yeah, it's the same password you used for your email, so obviously your email got hacked and not us, so it's your fault.
Right. And if you don't believe me, that's in the press release.
Yeah.
So click the next, I think the next tab has, that's press release. Dated May 23rd, 2016. By the way, 2 dates predating that article.
Yeah.
So they knew about this 2 weeks prior. And they said, we want to take this opportunity to encourage users to create different passwords for each account, not share your passwords, change your passwords regularly, do not use personally identifiable information for passwords, and use two-factor authentication.
I remember actually getting the two-factor authentication email saying, we highly encourage you to use this during like a week or two after this happened to me.
So a week or two after this occurred, so sometime around the middle of June, TeamViewer sent out emails to everyone who had ever used TeamViewer. I got one, as I used it professionally at that time as well. That said, look, there's been some problems with TeamViewer in the last couple of weeks. We are aware of that. It was nothing that had anything to do with TeamViewer, but we do recommend you go ahead and change your passwords.
Yeah, and we highly recommend, multi-factor authentication.
Yes. And everyone went, well, that seems a little fishy. There seemed to be a lot of smoke coming up from reports of people that said, hey, I don't share passwords, yet my TeamViewer was accessed. Yeah. What the crap? And TeamViewer goes, well, have better password policies. This one's on you, buddy. Lo and behold, a couple days ago, TeamViewer comes out with a statement and says, okay, we were breached by Chinese hackers in 2016.
Our bad.
But no passwords were ever compromised. Now, this was part of a massive botnet and exploit network that was ravaging a lot of online people at the time.
It was, oh crap, what did they say?
Winit.
Yeah.
Winit. Or Winty. There it is. Yeah, Winty. So Winty downloads a backdoor payload onto computers and gives them remote access of the victim's computer without their knowledge. That doesn't sound like what was happening, though. What sounds like happened is someone stole a database of TeamViewer accounts and passwords and was accessing them.
Oh, no, it definitely looked like, it really even looked like, on the bottom, your TeamViewer has been accessed from TeamViewer.
Right.
It looked like someone had TeamViewer on their side, like, I'm just going to enter their username and password.
Yeah.
There we go.
John.hopsandbrews.
Yep. And I like Budweiser.
Hunter 2.
Swipe left.
Right.
See, it's not...
Must use a special character. Oh, yeah. Right. Exclamation point.
Please change your password from that. 2 exclamation points.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Exactly.
Way more secure.
That's right.
Went from simple to advanced.
It's amazing. Yes. It's amazing. I have the same combination in my luggage. So the accounts of what happened from complaints at the time certainly seem like a compromised TeamViewer password and not a compromise from the Winty exploit, the Winty botnet that was happening. Yeah. Where that did give remote access to the hackers, but it didn't give remote access through TeamViewer. What was being accessed was TeamViewer. The interesting thing is that TeamViewer seems to be trying to blame Winty
all these
on their missteps.
Yeah.
Now, I also can't assuredly say that TeamViewer was hacked and that their passwords were exploited, but that's certainly what the evidence leads me to believe, as someone who's done some security research in the past. Yeah. Just...
egg on face, TeamViewer.
Jeff hiccups on schedule. That's not hiccups, unfortunately. So
it's the reason why he doesn't like loggers.
Yes. Yeah. You're so airy.
Yeah. No. I will say loggers are quite carbonated.
Yes.
So, do you want to try this Jeff's version?
Absolutely.
So this is Jeff's alternative, a little bit higher priced. Is the higher price and better quality?
Right. Now again, this isn't a Pilsner or a lager. This is a bright pale ale, so it should be a little bit hoppier, should be
hoppy, but still light.
Still very light, effervescent, refreshing, crisp. All those adjectives you want to throw
I'm expecting more of like a hopped lager. More like a hopped blonde.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was smelling it. I was like, ooh, it's already got a hoppy aroma to it.
Hoppy, woody.
I actually get dank. I get a little
dankness to it.
Hemp-esque.
Yeah. Oh, look how clear that is.
It's clearer than the...
For the record, I've never had this beer before. I've had a number of Freem beers. I love their sours. Their sours are absolutely amazing.
I've never had this one either.
They have a barrel-aged brute that is, oh my god, it's good.
Yeah. I think this is actually clearer than the pub beer.
It is way clearer, and look at that head.
Yeah. That's a white head.
So white, and it's staying. It's a thick...
Yeah. I mean, that looks like the camp.
Oh, wow. Ooh, smell it now.
Really? Oh. It's got a fruit and pine at the same time. Very bubbly. If you want to talk about, I mean, that...
Fruit and pine, but not like a juniper or a gin pine. Lemon.
There you go.
Lemon.
There, that's it. Right at the nose. I wanted to get close. I
heard the sound. I knew exactly what you did. I didn't even see it.
That smells good. Yep, smells good. Yeah. Oh, it's white like the thing I mean, I don't know. It's good. Hang on, guys. Oh, that's a good beer.
How's that one, John?
Yeah,
how's that one?
That's quality stuff.
Oh.
I like that, but I do wish it was colder.
I wish it was colder. It would certainly be better if it was colder. Now, this does recommend 40 degrees.
This is not 40
This is 50, 55.
Yeah.
This is almost... It's not quite room temp. It is colder than room temp, but it is not
colder than room temp. It'll be room temp by the time we're done with it.
Yeah, I will.
But...
What is... There's another smell on the nose. So there's the lemon, there's the pine, there's
something there.
There's another thing there. It's.
I can taste something funky.
Yeah.
Hey, look. Okay, so they say white grape, pineapple, and pine, with tropical aroma, honeydew, melon, and passion fruit. They're pushing a lot. I get a little passion fruit. I can see that. I can see more melon
on the back end, on the far back end.
I can get the aroma instead of I can get like a honeydew aroma.
Yeah.
Crisp, clean, fruity.
Clean finish. You'll understand why we call it bright.
Yeah.
It is very playful.
Yes.
Very playful.
So this is 5%. All of these have been 5%.
5.0 flat. And that was my goal, was to find something that would compete with what John brought.
Yeah.
And go, I would rather spend my money here.
So, right now, it's interesting because I can get 2 of these. Yeah. 2 of these basically for the price of this.
Right.
That's essentially what it is.
Because this was $2. This is $4.
Yeah.
This is $4 a pint.
So...
I will say, it was hollow.
It was hollow.
If I'm buying a lawnmower beer, if I'm buying something to stock my fridge with, and go, you know what, I've been out doing yard work all day. I went out for almost 2 hours today and did yard work out back.
Yeah.
And I came in and I went, God, I wish I had like this light beer.
Yeah.
I wish I had something that was not light beer, but a lighter bodied.
I would probably. So here's what I think. If I was going to go between these two, I'd easily go for this one.
Yeah.
This is a no-brainer. If I was on a budget and I was like, I need to find some beers for a barbecue for my friends.
Yep.
I actually might go for this.
I might go for this.
I might go for that because I can get a 6-pack for half the price of a 4. Basically the price of 3 of these. Yeah. And I probably wouldn't offend too many people. Like, oh, it's Budweiser, and then my craft beer. What are you doing? Just try this, guys.
Seriously, try it.
Just try this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it would complement. This is still a really good beer. I think this is like really. It's like that. It's so close.
Yeah.
It's so close.
Yeah. I will say what puts this one over the top for me is, again, there's nothing offensive about it. But this one is much more complex than the pub beer.
Yes.
Every single essence and aroma and whatnot, they're all very, very pleasant.
Oh, very and rich. Yeah. There's rich flavors in this.
Yeah.
And we're drinking it warm.
Yeah.
We're not even drinking it at that refreshing level that it's supposed to be served at.
This would be a lot better at 40 degrees.
Yes.
A lot better.
But I think that that $4 price point to where this Budweiser, $1.50 a bottle.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
So, $1.50 a bottle. So I can buy essentially 3 of these for the price of this.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, I might go for this.
Yeah, actually.
So two of these is a 6-pack of that.
Yeah. Honestly, I gotta say, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's hard.
I agree with you.
That's hard. But
I don't do it willingly.
This is still a fun. Math-wise, it makes sense.
Yes.
Math-wise, it makes. But if you're just gonna make 1 bottle versus 1 bottle, and we're not talking price.
Right.
Frame wins.
Yeah.
That's like the Intel AMD. Oh yeah, we're not talking price. Oh yeah,
Right.
Intel will win.
Yeah. Well, for now it does.
Now.
Yeah. But no, this is.
It's still really good.
It's really good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Way better than the pub beer.
Yep.
Just 3 times as much as Budweiser.
Yep. Yeah, and versus the pub, every time.
Every time. I get the lemon and a honeydew now. Mm-hmm. I do get the what is it? Passion fruit. I do get
way at the back. It's way at the back.
I really do. I get it.
It's kind of that.
Yes, I will say though, out of all 3, if any of you guys that were paying attention, the head retention is still there.
The head is still there.
The head is still there.
Which is helping with the aroma, which is helping me enjoy this a little bit longer.
Yes.
The Budweiser actually stayed longer than the pub beer, and that surprised the hell out of me.
Again, it's not a bad beer.
It's not a bad beer.
Like, I was blowing my... It blew my mind of how good that beer was.
Yeah.
And it's not a great beer, but it's just, for Budweiser, it really blew my mind. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, so I still had the Jim Beam one. Yeah. That's what it was, Jim Beam one.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring it to compare. Like, let's open that one.
No.
Maybe I'll age it.
Ooh, there you go. Drop it in the cellar for 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. I'll come back in 10 years and Hops and Brews, the 10th anniversary.
The 2018 Jim Beam.
Yeah.
Jim Beam Budweiser edition. Yep. A couple light news items here. Number 1, Apple launches an 8-core MacBook Pro with the same exact cooling solution and a keyboard with different materials that will probably still break.
They're hoping it's going to work.
They're hoping it's going to work. They say, well, the design didn't change. And the problem, in my opinion, was likely the design.
Oh, no. They're saying it's the plastics.
Well, they tried putting a membrane around the plastics, and that still didn't work.
No, Jeff, it's the plastics. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. It's the plastics. That's what Apple states, and so that's law. It's the plastics.
Can you say that? Maybe I'm holding the phone wrong. Could you...
Jeff, Apple stated it, so it's law.
Okay.
It's the plastics.
Okay.
Do not go against our Lord and Savior, Apple.
They also said that we stand by the Pro market and we absolutely have products for them. However, the last decent MacBook Pro Mac Pro was put out in 2012. Weird.
Did that keyboard work? Yes, it did.
Actually, that keyboard was amazing. I still have a couple of those around.
Oh. Yeah, no, Apple was saying that they were even going to ship out a replacement, like a tool or something that's supposed to fix the keyboards, which I was like, how? And doesn't that go against Apple's policy of stating that, when one small thing is broken, you have to replace the whole entire thing because every part's integrated with each other?
Nothing's repairable.
Yeah, exactly. That's what that was my immediate thought. I was like, they're going to probably say, oh, no, you got to send this in. And then if anyone else, if they give you the part, and not a licensed person touches this, you're screwed.
What I had in my head right there was Rick going, yeah, I made a tool that'll fix the Apple keyboard. And Morty getting off his level plane.
Oh, God. I need to go back.
Reality's a lie. Lamps of the cosmic slaughter.
It's all right. I'm just going to do a look. It's going to be all right. Summer.
Grandpa, is this a situation 3? Who's your grandpa and who are you? Oh, it's a situation 4. New Rick and Morty in November.
Why wasn't that on here? We should have put that up on here.
Yeah. We talked about it last week.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that part.
Yeah.
I had to turn it off.
Yep. You turned off early?
It's not early. I have to sporadically watch because at the time is also the time that I spend with my wife and we watch our show together.
Jeez.
Oh, I still have it, but it's like muted.
I thought we were friends.
That's why you only see comments at the very beginning, at the very end.
Yeah.
From me. And then you make fun of me in the middle, and that's why I was like, I'm just not even going to watch this part because it's stupid.
We do make fun of you a lot in the middle. All right, it's 7:30. John's not watching anymore.
Exactly.
Let him have it.
John makes a strawberry beer that explodes. It's like the #1 story every time.
That was an ale.
Whatever. See? I'm going to make...
And that one didn't explode. That one just had whole strawberries.
I'm going to make it I'm going to make a strawberry beer, Jeff. The next one, I'm going to make a summer strawberry beer. We're going to have it on the show. It's going to be the best darn strawberry beer you've ever had.
I want you to make that. I also want you to make your tepache.
The tepache. I really want to make that again, too, this year.
I want you to make that.
I have one bottle left.
Do you?
One bottle left of original, I think it's 2016?
Yeah.
So like 3 years old. I've opened some throughout the years, and they're...
it would have been before that.
Yeah,
It would have been 16 , I think, when you made that.
So I've opened a few bottles.
Because you didn't own the tap house yet. You bought the tap house in 17.
Yes, so it would have been like 16.
Yeah, it would have been 16.
So I might do one. I might do one because I'll do it. I'll say within June, beginning of July, I'll have some tepache on this show.
Yes.
So
yes,
it was good.
It was good stuff.
It's good stuff.
John has been a budding homebrewer for a number of years. He makes really good beer, to your credit. You really do make some good beer. But the tepache that he made, this is the first beer that you've made that I would buy at a store.
Yeah.
I would pay money to have this bottled.
I think the legend of it, though, is much higher than the quality, than what we'll remember, than what it actually is, you know?
I don't think so.
I mean, it was a good tepache.
It's solid. It is
solid.
It is not the best thing I've ever had. There are a number of ciders that I would rather have.
Oh, yeah.
There's some high-end craft ciders. There's some stuff.
It was the idea. A home brewer made this. That's the idea.
In 3 days.
In 3 days.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of tepache is it's a quick fermentation.
Right.
You can make it. It's a big mess. It's all pineapple juice and
it's pineapple and brown sugar.
It's pineapple, brown sugar, and that's it. And some Mexican spices.
Yeah. And a bunch of yeast, and you go poop.
Yep. Go poop and kill real quick because you don't want a whole lot of ABV. Because then you're just gonna get this really weird. You still need sugar in it.
Yeah, it's gonna be super funky.
Yeah.
if you let it eat it all.
So yeah, you need to kill it really fast. So
do not use champagne yeast.
No. So yeah.
17%.
I'll make some.
Yeah.
I'll make some.
Yeah.
So,
but while you say you think the legend is higher than the quality of it, I think the quality was still darn high.
I think the quality was still darn high. It makes really fast. It's just a big messy process.
Right.
That's
because I look at some of the local cideries around here. I look at 1843. I look at Bauman's. I look at some of the nice cideries that we have around here, and I would put that among some of the best stuff that they made.
Oh yeah, no,
and certainly better than some of their stuff.
Oh yeah, no. Even the old bottles I have, I'm like it's gone a little sour.
Yeah.
But if you like not sour in a bad way, but just like it tastes like a
now it has some sour to it.
Now it has some sour to it. So if you like sours, if you're like, I want a sour pineapple sweet drink, there's still some sugar to it. Like this is still really good. So I think that my wife is like, oh, it turned funky because she wanted really sweet type of thing because it had a bit of a nice sweetness to it.
Yeah,
it tasted like alcoholic juice.
Right. It was sweet, but it was also tangy.
Yeah.
The pineapple was very present.
Yeah.
And I personally love pineapple on just about everything.
Yeah. So I'll make some.
Yeah.
I remember what I actually have.
I'm holding you to it.
I have the recipe handwritten down.
All right.
So,
maybe you should post that.
No, it's my secret. Actually, it's not a secret recipe. I just Googled it.
Yeah.
I was like, 2 recipes. All right, merge them.
Yep.
But it's a fast recipe. It moves really fast. You know what else is fast? Firefox.
The new version of Firefox.
That's right. You like that stupid transition? That was a horrible.
I was wondering how you were going to
really,
do that.
Really stupid transition.
I went, this is John's story. He's got to get off this one eventually.
Well, this is so.
He's going to make a fast
This
joke.
wasn't. I mean, I
It's
just
common.
put this up because it was. It's like, oh, you know, we've always talked about Google, and we make jokes on Jeff's Discord of Google Chrome constantly eating up memory and RAM and everything like that. But in all honesty, most people still use Chrome.
Yeah.
As the standard go-to. No one uses Explorer, even though Windows really wants
It's not
you to.
true. I've got one guy who swears by it. But he doesn't know the difference between Explorer and Edge, so that gets a little weird.
I know people that don't know the difference between Explorer and Windows File Explorer.
Yeah.
So
Open an Explorer window. Okay, where do I go?
yeah, what address do I
My
go
computer. Well, I'm on Google.
to? Yeah, no, I have that.
Yeah.
I have people that do that. Where Firefox,
I am so happy I'm just a server admin and IT manager
Yeah.
anymore.
yeah, God, I hate.
I get to listen to the phone calls from across the room, and that is glorious.
No, I get stupid stuff.
The button on the side, is it glowing?
Yes, I get that. No, if you're on Jeff's Discord again, you'll hear some of the stories that go on with some of. If you like cars or music or any, we got channels for you. $1 a month. It's fantastic. Trust me. Everyone's always on there. Someone 24 hours. I will swear by that.
Yep.
24 hours. Someone is always.
There's
on
a
there.
little bit of a dead zone between 2 and 4 a.m.
Nah,
West Coast time.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Little bit. But
And I think that's because Claw woke up, he's already drunk, and he scared everyone off.
he's like, oh, I've only got 5 or 12 of these 4% beers. Oh gosh. I'm still good to go. But I remember Firefox.
Sorry, Claw.
Early 2000s was my go-to browser.
Yeah.
And then it started dying down. Well, apparently though, they're going to be implementing some pretty cool things with the new Firefox to make it competitive with Chrome, and actually specifically about the RAM eating up RAM.
Yeah.
Too, where that with a lower end laptops that don't have too much RAM, they're saying they're actually going
Chromebooks.
Yes. Or Huawei books. Either one. Whatever. The new ones. They're actually going
It'd be great to get a Chromebook and go, okay, now how do I install Firefox?
That meme. Oh, man, if that meme switched, that would be hilarious.
What is my purpose? You install Chrome.
You install Firefox now. Oh, that would be horrible.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, welcome to the club, pal.
But yeah, so that what they're actually going to do is actually like not kill the tabs, but they're going to kill the memory of those tabs, and so they will not reload till you click back to them, keeping load speeds faster on the current page that you're on.
Yes.
They're also going to optimize initial load time of just clicking Firefox by getting rid of a lot of the junk things in the background. So if you are kind of tired of Chrome taking up a lot of your RAM a lot of time, you might want to switch over to the latest Firefox and check that out.
Yep.
It might be pretty cool.
I will say at home, I'm about 50-50 Chrome and Firefox. I have different uses for both. I am fully invested in Google's ecosystem as far as my workload goes, as far as that's where most of my email resides. That's where a good chunk of my documents reside. I don't use Microsoft Office around the house, save for a couple Excel files that I have that are templates for calculations that I use. But then I also use Firefox for a good number of different things. Now, Chrome is my everyday browser because it does have the Google integration, and I am heavily invested in those services. But I do use Firefox for a number of different things. So,
Well, and they were saying that they're really trying to get Firefox into like loading YouTube and videos faster.
And just go
too.
snap.
And just go snap and do that. Which I think that'll help the everyday browser. So, person, not the,
right.
you know.
Yep.
Now we're big Futurama fans on this show. I mean, we reference Futurama all the time. Matt Groening. Yeah. Matt Groening.
Groening.
What is
Groening.
Groening? Why did I always call it Groening?
No. Yeah. Gronig.
Groening. No.
Is there an N?
Yeah, there's an N.
No, Groening. How did I not know that? Is that a typo? Hold on. What? Groening.
Groening. I was like,
I've always pronounced it Groening. I don't know why.
yeah. So Matt Groening. I've always heard it as Mac. Okay.
I will say my ears are not the best.
Okay.
My ears are not the best.
Doesn't matter. I won't beat you up for it unless we're on Jeff's Discord.
Yeah.
Join to see that. Anyway, so Matt Groening, Simpsons. We love the Simpsons, but we kind of lean a bit more on this channel toward Futurama just because of the nerd aspect.
Yes.
Now he released a new series on Netflix.
Like Fry.
New series on Netflix, The Disenchantment. Did you watch it? Mm-hmm. I have not watched it yet, actually. Mm-hmm. What did you think of it?
It reminded me of early Futurama.
Really?
Not as good.
Not as good?
Not as good as early Futurama. Now, early Futurama, one thing that Matt Groening, see what I did? Matt Groening has always done well is individualized character development. And that is something I am a big proponent of when it comes to storytelling and shows on the air, is I want the characters to have their own life. I don't want them to be a platform for the writers to use. I want the writers to use them accurately.
Yeah.
To develop a character, and then how does that character respond to a situation, rather than using a character as a springboard to launch a situation. Those are two completely different things, and I like writers that use them correctly. And that's why I got into this discussion with
Steve?
with Rhett.
Oh, right.
It might have been Steve.
This is a 50-50 shot for me.
We were talking about different cartoons that have like kind of peaked and then petered out. Peter, no. And it's because the writers stopped using the characters as individuals and they use any character for any random joke.
Yeah, it was just a joke.
Right. So Family Guy has done this, Futurama has done this, American Dad has done this, Simpsons has done this throughout its history.
Yeah.
Now, Simpsons kind of did this, and then did this, and then kind of did this again. Yeah. Where they went back up. Even South Park went through a down phase where every character seemed to be the same.
Yes. Well, I think that's just like, they're hitting the time. They're hitting their joke. Like, okay, this is going to make us money. Mm-hmm. These jokes are flying, and now they're stale because we've repeated the joke 1,000 times over with the exact same, different characters.
With Disenchantment, what I really liked, now, number one, it is not as rapid-fire funny as Simpsons or Futurama is. Okay. So if you're going into it expecting that every other line is a joke, that's not what this is. This is a more serious cartoon with a lot of jokes in it.
So is it, you're saying like more like, say, a British humor?
No, it's still that familiar Groening humor.
Okay.
But it's not every single line.
Okay.
Where there's a lot more plot and character development that is focused on that.
Okay.
And kind of like, think of like the sadder episodes of Futurama, like Fry's dog. Think of the Mother episode, where there's 3-minute chunks of the video where it's not funny at all. We're just walking along with this character in a not funny situation.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what this is. Now, it's not depressing. It's storytelling rather than comedy.
It's character development. I understand the depth of this character.
Right, exactly. And so I'm really looking forward to part 2 of season 1 because they've spent so much time trying to develop these characters.
So part 2 of season 1. So season 1, each season is 20 episodes.
Yes.
And so they aired 10 already, and part 2, which will be another 10 episodes, is going to be airing,
November.
Yep. And it's already been renewed for a second season, so that means we're already talking into the 2020 and 2021s. Yep. So we will at least have 3 more, not seasons, but
half seasons.
Right. So kind of like the South Park does half seasons.
Yeah.
This will be half seasons on Netflix.
Right.
So, which will be coming up really soon in November. So I did want to see this. I just never had the time, and
I got into it. It was enjoyable. You can tell they're a little bit lower budget right now because the variety of voice actors isn't nearly what it was in Futurama.
Okay.
Now, Futurama had Maurice LaMarche and had a number of voice actors that could do literally 100 different voices, and you couldn't tell the difference.
So you're like, a lot of people, you're like,
this one you can pick out, well, that's the same guy that I heard 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And you can hear some reused voices. Particularly Maurice LaMarche is one of the voices in there. The construction worker is the king.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's that voice. And so there's some familiarity there. It's not as funny. It's not as rapid fire, but it's good. It's well written. It's well structured. Good. The characters are developing, and I do like to see that. So.
Can you have one more?
Oh, we did have one more. Search Ouya. Ouya. Ouya.
Oh. I did IA.
Yep. Not The Verge. Click on anyone else. There was one that...
There's The Verge that Kickstarter? No.
Yeah, there you go. TechReg, that'll work.
There we go.
So...
oh, yes, I remember this.
We've talked about the Ouya, which was Kickstarter's dream baby. The gaming console that was going to compete with every other game console and deliver Xbox 360 level graphics and an open storefront.
For everyone to download and do from. Yes, I remember this a couple years ago.
And it was pretty much dead on arrival. Number one, the hardware couldn't keep up. It wasn't as good as advertised. The storefront never really took off because it was reliant on Android-based stores. And a lot of the games that were available, they go in, well, we'll have 2,500 games at launch. There's the hiccups. Time.
Standard and time.
Right. We'll have 2,500 games at launch. Yeah, but they're all written for cell phones. You have like 3 games that are written for the Ouya.
Yeah. Oh, well, then didn't Razer end up buying them out too?
Razer bought them out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Razer bought them out. And I remember, wasn't there like an announcement a year or so ago? We're going to push this so hard. Or was it 2 years ago? Didn't Razer try pushing this really hard?
They tried kind of like, Razer's behind this now. And we're gonna give it like all we've got, kind of mentality.
It's Razer's a gaming company. We're gaming,
right? And 2 weeks later, you didn't hear anything about it ever again.
Yeah.
Now the reason Razer probably bought Ouya was more for intellectual property rights, for storefront, for distribution access, for things like that. Things that they wanted the developers from Ouya to move over to Razer and start working on products for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we ever talked about that transaction or
that doesn't sound familiar.
That purchase. We may have. I know I've talked about Ouya on the show before, but I don't know if it was in that context. But Razer buying Ouya to like reinvigorate them, I never bought into. I thought this was all, well, we'll take on their assets and we'll dissolve the company and we'll take what was good about them and we'll reuse them as Razer branding.
Yeah.
And that's kind of proving true today. As June 25th, the Ouya store officially shuts down. Yep. In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Yep. So, that's pretty much it, yeah.
I'm surprised it took 7 years, honestly. Raised $9 million on Kickstarter in 2012. Was the largest campaign Kickstarter had ever seen at that time.
I know,
there have been some that have surpassed it since.
But yeah, I do remember that being like on Kickstarter being, this is the largest we ever seen. That's why Kickstarter was a huge success. This probably helped start Kickstarter as a legitimate. Oh yeah, hey, let's go through Kickstarter.
This got Kickstarter some funding.
Yeah, exactly.
And this was a breadwinner for them at the time. So yeah, Razer purchased them and post-acquisition. The store is kind of a gutted shell of its former self, which is kind of what I thought would happen. I didn't think they were going to reinvigorate it and use it as a distribution platform. Well, now, I think had Razer been a little bit more forward-thinking, they could have used the Ouya as a cloud streaming platform and said, we'll still do a storefront, we'll still have games, but we're going to power it with Azure, or we're going to power it with Google, or we're going to power it with this, and we'll sell you games on the game store, and you can use your Ouya console to stream those games.
Yeah.
Had they been a forward-thinking company, I think that would have been a home run at the time. Because remember, we're just now talking about Google Project Stream launching officially.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. Nothing's going to come of this. And it is what it is. There's so many places doing streaming stores, so many doing like the PlayStation was it 4 now, 5 now?
5.
5's coming out, and it's, I don't know. There's going to be so many gaming options.
Yep. We had the PlayStation 5 on the list, but it didn't make the cut for a news story because it just kind of reaffirmed some of the rumors we'd heard the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was just basically rumor based. And I was like, oh, it's going to be great.
Yep. So, yeah.
So, it's going to be fun. You want to do questions?
We got a couple minutes for questions.
You want to do quick Q&A if anyone's got anything.
Yeah.
What do you...
What do you guys want to talk about?
What do you guys want to talk about? Answer questions. Well, Jeff, what do you think of this beer?
Much more bready now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting more bread.
I get bread in the aroma, but I get... No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. There's still
it
citrus.
Warmed up that 5 to 7 degrees.
Yeah.
There's still citrus there, but it's much flatter.
Yeah. Although I still have a bit of head.
Oh yeah. No, it's still on there. That's still a good quarter to a third of an inch ahead on there.
Yeah, that's a quality
and it really
beer.
is helping the aroma.
It really is.
Ryzen 3000 theory crafting. I've said full stop. I think there's going to be a 12 and a 16 core Ryzen processor that launches. I think it's going to be under $500 because they are trying to seriously undercut Intel. Remember, AMD is still making money on the Ryzen 7 1700 at $159. They are still making money with that. And the early reports that we've had are the yields on 7 nanometer are good, are very good. Mm-hmm. So that means processors are going to be pretty darn cheap. Now, they are going to launch at retail prices, and they're going to launch at fairly competitive retail prices, but what we're probably going to see is $399 for an 8-core, or possibly a 12-core, maybe $250 for an 8-core, and then $499 for a 16-core. I think those are going to be the prices. Mm. But that also gives them room to drop them down. But that also gives AMD a pretty decent profit margin going at Intel, which we know doesn't have much of a profit margin left because they're not getting good yields.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be a banner year for AMD. Oh, I really do.
I don't even think it's going to be a year. I think it's going to be the next 3 years, honestly. Because I don't think Intel's even going to remotely come out with anything to compete for a while.
Next year, I have to choose between sysadmin and software engineering. Any recommendations? Are you any good at programming? If you're good at programming, software engineering is a great field to get into. I found out very early on I'm a terrible programmer, and so I went into to sysadmin.
I went into programming.
Yeah, exactly. I will say programming in a lot of regards is going to be more lucrative. There is more call for programmers than there are for system engineers, than there are for sysadmin.
But it's funny because right now I'm in the market for, I need a sysadmin.
Right, exactly. But typically there's 8 programmers and two sysadmins. That's kind of how it works. So if you're a good programmer, the marketplace is open. If you're not into that and you'd like more networking challenges, and if you are network minded, you can write your own paycheck, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Networking is where is that.
Both are very good at what they do. Yeah. If you're even halfway decent at what you do, you'll find a good job. Yep. You'll find a good spot. Yep. You just gotta look.
What is your favorite brewery?
Ooh. I actually do know my favorite. My favorite brewery actually is Stone.
Stone?
I will give hands down. My favorite brewery is Stone. Almost everything they do, I have enjoyed.
That is surprising.
Except I've had probably one bad beer from Stone, and that's the Metallica beer.
Yes.
That was a horrible beer.
I'm gonna give like a national. What's your favorite local?
Local,
like Oregon based.
I'm gonna. If there was one I had to choose, probably like Block 15. Mm-hmm. Block 15. It usually makes solid beers and some really good beers.
Solid answer. Solid answer. Block 15 is very high on my list. Yeah. Local beer, I'm probably going Oakshire.
That's a good one too. Very good one.
They're not nearly as distributed as Block 15, but they are one of my all-time favorite breweries.
Yeah.
Either them or an even less known one, Belgian Underground.
That's hard to compete because Belgian Underground only has 5 beers.
They have 5 beers and they are all freaking amazing.
I will say one of their beers is the best Belgian Strong Ale.
Oh God, the Secret Army.
The Secret Army.
Oh,
Army
God.
Secret is probably the best.
That is the
Belgian
first beer
Strong
I ever
Ale.
had on my channel.
Yeah,
it is in episode 1 of Craft Computing.
It is the best Belgian Strong Ale I have ever had, and I have had over
bar none.
I have had like 3,600 different beers checked in on tap. That's probably my best Belgian Strong Ale
Yes,
I've ever.
absolutely.
I've told Sheldon. I actually know the owner. We know the owner
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah, Sheldon and Bear.
Yeah, I know. I've told her like that's a great recipe.
Yeah.
So.
And please keep brewing it.
They are. Thanks to Ratchet Brewery, another friend of ours.
Yep.
They will continue to brew.
Yep. So yeah, Oakshire is probably my favorite, with a tip of the cap to Belgian Underground. As far as like a nationally distributed, gosh, it's really hard to go wrong with New Holland.
New Holland does great strong ales.
Yeah, great strong ales, great stouts,
great
imperial
big
stouts.
beers.
Yeah,
they do great big beers.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I've had a couple of their ales that are kind of like that's pretty good, but it's still very drinkable, very good, and reasonably priced.
You know who would actually compete with that would be Founders.
Yeah,
Founders,
that's another one.
Founders
that's
would
high
be
on my list.
really good on that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone said Founders.
Yep. New Belgium and Sweetwater. Those are both great choices. Founders.
Canadian Breakfast
Out for the win. And I do lean CBS versus KBS.
Well, CBS is way better.
Way better than KBS.
Yeah.
Way better than KBS.
So, but I'm more of an IPA guy, and that's why I like Stone. I like Stone because
great IPAs.
Great IPAs, and what I really love about they're like, we don't care about what everyone else thinks. We're gonna throw a crap ton of hops. You like this flavor or not? You don't like it? We're still gonna brew it. I don't care. I like that mentality.
I like the mentality because they go, you know what? You may not like it, but there's someone who does.
There's someone who does, and screw you. We're gonna make it for them.
And really, as far as the West Coast IPA, they're a card-carrying founder.
Yeah.
They are one of the innovators for that industry. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Where they created what the West Coast IPA and later what the Northwest IPA kind of became.
Oh yeah. No.
And their standard IPAs are amazingly good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Actually, it's funny is I wanted to bring on here.
And their stouts are darn good too.
They are. They are really good. I wanted to bring on here just the standard Stone IPA, and I can get that at Walmart for $2.20.
$2.20, yeah,
something
exactly.
like that. And it's a little more than a pint actually. It's the tall boy.
Yeah, it's a bomber.
It's a bomber. Yeah. And so for $2.20, and I drank it about a couple months. I was like, this is still really good.
Yeah.
Even compare. I've had hundreds of thousands of beers. This is still competes, and it's their standard IPA. Like this is our basic.
Yeah.
It still competes.
Yeah. It is not the best IPA I've ever had.
No, but
it is among the best. It's in the conversation.
It's in the conversation of like, if for $2.25, yeah, it is.
And it's their standard. It's their, we have an IPA. There's our IPA.
It's the bottom of our IPA list. Yeah. Here you go.
Lagunitas.
Lagunitas is really good too. Yeah. I like a lot of their specialty beers.
Yes.
I really do.
The
Waldo really comes to mind.
Waldo, Little Something.
Little Something comes to mind.
That's probably my favorite from Lagunitas. Little Something.
They actually do these new ones now. They cryo freeze hops during fresh harvest season.
Yeah.
So they still have the oils in them, and so then they'll brew them during later in the year in the wintertime, so they have fresh hop beer. Yeah,
you get fresh hop in December.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. So it's pretty cool.
Two Hearted.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, it says Two Hearted is the best IPA I've ever had.
I will look them up.
Bell's Two Hearted.
Oh, okay. I've heard of Bell's. I've heard of Bell's.
Bell's Two Hearted IPA.
Okay.
There it is. Okay. We put like 3 comments together and we got it.
Yeah. I was like, who's Best Hearted? I'm like,
any other questions? We got a couple more minutes here.
Yeah. Jeff's got a little more of his beer to drink.
Yeah.
We'll probably, when we're done, we'll probably make some scotch.
Yep. Yeah. I bought a new scotch and I'm looking forward to it. So I went up to the counter and, I was standing in the back by the whiskeys and I was holding the 2 Freem beers in my hand. And I'm just like looking at the scotches and going, I need a scotch. And a lady came by and she goes, can I help you find something? And I said, I'm just looking for something to catch my eye. And she goes, okay, well, let me know if you need anything. And I'm like, I'm already in heaven. It's fine. And I'm looking around. I'm looking at Top Shelf, and there's Lefroy, and there's a whole bunch of different ones. And I'm looking for like a good like single malt 12-year. You know, I'm wanting something kind of highbrow, but I'm not wanting to spend more than like $50 or $60 today. So I'm going through, and I'm like, okay, there's Lefroy. Oh, that's $55. Okay. Oh, there's Glenlivet. Oh, that's $45. Maybe I don't know. I've had Glen 12 before.
Like, I want like $35.
Right. Exactly. So I'm going through, and I'm like on the second to the bottom shelf, and there's I'll pull it down.
Yeah. All right.
Because I know you're gonna want some.
Oh, from Spain. We have someone from Spain watching.
Hello.
Oh.
Founders All Day IPA. That's a pretty solid IPA.
Founders All Day IPA is a great session IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.8, I think is what it is.
Something like that. It's pretty light, and it usually comes within that $2 lower mark, and the bomber.
Yeah, 6-pack for $8 kind of thing.
Something like that.
So I found this Highland Park's Magnus single malt Scotch whiskey. It doesn't have an age listing on it, which means it is probably somewhere around 4-year, between 4 and 6.
Robust bottle.
Yeah, thick bottle, black, $35. Single malt Scotch.
We will see.
Yep. Oh, we're gonna like this.
Really?
Oh, so I found the bottle on my own. I didn't ask for a recommendation or anything. Found the bottle. I'm like, single malt Scotch, $35. Hell, I'll give that a try.
Yeah.
And so I grabbed the bottle, walked up to the counter, and I put the Freem beers and the Scotch up on the counter. And she goes, "Oh, have you had this one?" And I went, "No, I haven't." And I said, "I just saw single malt Scotch, $35. Figured, what the hell?" She goes, "Oh, it's amazingly good."
The mark of a true salesman.
Right. It's like, I'm already buying it. You don't have to sell me that. Dude.
Ooh, that's got a nice aroma.
Yeah.
That's like sweet and spicy at the same time.
Maybe like a rose petal?
Yeah.
Kind of smell to it?
I was expecting a harsh, smoky...
Harsh char.
Yeah.
Right. No, sweet floral.
There's a little char in there at the back end.
There's a little char.
But the up front is malty sweetness. I get what you're saying, rose petal. Kind of a dry.
Yeah, it's a dry floral kind of smell to it. Like I'm smelling like a smoked rose, like potpourri kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think
chocolate cherries or chocolate strawberry.
I can get a chocolate.
Little chocolate.
I can get a little chocolate. I don't get a fruit though.
There's chocolate in
there.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
It's so interesting of smelling stuff. Of you do the quick,
the
long, the medium.
Yeah.
You get all these different senses. Yep. It's very fun.
All right, I'm sipping.
Whoa. That's way different than the aroma.
Wow.
That is so different.
That is, boy, that turned quick.
Right? It turned real quick.
Whoa.
You get, I get woody and smoky.
Yeah.
It like
that first campfire smoke.
Yes, I get it. It just turns right away. The second it touches your tongue, it turns.
Whoa.
Like the aroma is still very pleasant.
Yeah.
Even after I drank it and I know what it's supposed to taste like.
Yeah.
It's still that sweetness.
Oh. This was $35. That's impressive.
So like the very initial taste, the split second sweet, and then boom, it cuts to smoky campfire to where this is sweet Scotch somehow.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense.
Right. It totally doesn't. It is very... The nose is velvety, I want to say.
That's a good...
It's kind of... it is so smooth.
It's silky, velvety, yeah.
Yeah. And all the flavors are very, very rich as far as on your nose. It touches your tongue, and it's like sugar. It's like something that's been candy coated.
Yes. Not brown sugar.
Not brown sugar, but a real rich cane sugar that you've turned into a real thick syrup kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as soon as it touches your tongue, it turns into that peaty Scotch, smoky.
Oh yeah.
But not overly peaty, but campfirey, roasty.
Yeah. It's still a smooth smoke.
Very smooth.
It's almost like smoking a pipe with
Yeah.
a sweet
Yeah.
tobacco or sweet whiskey or bourbon in it.
Yeah.
That's kind of
That's
what
exactly what it is. That is good.
for $35.
$35.
This is actually that's easy going down. This is good.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually one of the better ones I've ever had. I might buy a bottle of this.
Taste it again. Take a little bit bigger swig and let it sit on your tongue. Red velvet cake. It's there. It's totally there.
It's
Dark chocolate, red velvet.
real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right in the middle. Right in the middle, there's maybe a half a second of a thick red velvet, and then it turns to smoke.
Yeah.
That is it's really good buy. Now I get chocolate. Yeah, I get a chocolatey fruitiness.
I keep getting some dark chocolate coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very good because you get everything you want. It's almost like a dessert scotch. If there was a thing, this is a dessert scotch.
Yeah.
That's a good buy.
That's a good buy.
I'm gonna just finish this.
I'm happy with that. Anyway.
Oh, that made it horrible. Oh God. Oh, that is horrible. Oh.
Yeah, I smelled it. And now I'm not wanting to agree with me.
God.
Thank you so much for joining us, episode 82 of Talking Heads, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news.
God.
I'm going to go take care of John now.
Still lingers. Oh my gosh.
John, have some more scotch. It'll
Oh,
fix it.
God.
It'll fix it. Good night,
You're
everyone.
still there. Oh, God. No, I'm just kidding.
Good night, everyone.
See you guys.